Defining simulation settings, part 1. This model in particular does not have any correlation between input variables. Therefore, we jump directly to defining the configuration settings. This option allows you to specify how the Monte Carlo simulation process is going to be run and controlled. The simulation settings command affects the operations performed during an at-risk simulation. All settings have default values, but these can be modified. The simulation settings affect the type of sampling at-risk performs, the updating of the worksheet displayed during simulation, the values returned by Excel in a standard recalculation, the seeding of the random number generator used for sampling, the status of convergence monitoring, and macro execution during simulation. All simulation settings are saved with the workbook when you save your workbook in Excel. Note that a few of the simulation settings, particularly the number of iterations and the number of simulations, can be set directly from the at-risk ribbon. This saves you from having to get into the simulation settings dialog each time you want to change these common settings. To save simulation settings so they will be used as the default settings each time you start at risk, you can use the application settings command on the utilities menu. However, be aware that the simulation settings saved in any workbook override the default application settings. 47. Click on the simulation settings button. The following window appears. Just make sure your number of iterations is placed on 5,000. An iteration is one recalculation of a model during a simulation. A simulation consists of many such iterations. During each iteration, all uncertain variables are sampled once according to their probability distributions, and the model is recalculated using these sampled values. Also, make sure your number of simulations has been placed on 1. At-risk uses simulation, often called Monte Carlo simulation, to perform a risk analysis. Here, simulation refers to a method where the distribution of possible outcomes is generated by letting a computer recalculate your worksheet repeatedly, each time using different randomly selected sets of values for the probability distributions in your input cells. Each one of these recalculations is called an iteration. In fact, the computer tries a wide range of valid combinations of the values of input variables to simulate a wide range of possible values of your output variables. This is just as if you ran hundreds or thousands of what-if analyses on your worksheet, all in one sitting. The set of all these possible 5,000 iterations or what-if analyses or iterations is called, as a joint set, a simulation. In this case yet, we will only run one simulation consisting of 5,000 iterations. Therefore, leave number of simulations at 1. 48. Make sure multiple CPU support has been set to automatic. At-risk will deem if it's necessary to open multiple sessions of Excel for parallel processing of 5,000 iterations for this single simulation, given the number of input variables that the model already contains. 49. Go to the second tab view in order to verify all settings there. In general, this is a tab where you define what you want to see during the simulation run. It does not affect essentially the results of any simulation. Just make sure that the automatic results display section option has been selected on none. This will guarantee the fastest simulation, since all the computer's resources will be allocated to simulation processing as opposed to displaying Excel results and charts, which consume a lot of processing time and resources.